Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. Oh, yeah. It's a Tuesday morning of a Bears victory week.
Sounds good to
Nothing like it. It's your boy Pat, the designer, back at it again, joined by Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC.
Morning.
On today's episode, got some interesting topics to break down. Number one, did the Chicago Bears sort out their communication issues in a win versus the Rams? And I think that's a great conversation to start with, because we're in week 4 or 5, going to week 5 of the season, and I don't know if I can confidently say that. Also, Peter Schrager put out an interesting article that talked about some of the pieces maybe the Chiefs should go after. Could our own Keenan Allen be on that list? Do the Bears flip him right away? No contract is done. And then, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is back. NBA Media Day has returned. And we got to talk a little basketball. What are our takeaways from Bulls Media Day, NBA Media Day as a whole? It's 10/1/2024, 6:35 in the morning. And I just woke up. We don't hide nothing on this show.
Literally.
Hey. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Kill the music. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with your boy. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Apparently, Restream just woke up as well.
Really?
I'm not getting don't know how many people are watching the video, who's in the chat, nothing. I got no information here, so I got to pull all that up as well. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love, man. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. JC, what's good, my guy?
What's good, man? Hey, I feel it, man. It's a good Tuesday. Hey, sometimes you wake up early, sometimes you wake up late, but we still are here. You woke up. It doesn't matter.
Listen, man, every now and then that bed holds you hostage, and that was me this morning. That's all I can say about it. That is all I can say about it. Let's start it off here, JC. Let's start off with the communication issues that we've seen around the Chicago Bears this week. I mean, or I should say throughout the season, not just this week. Have the Bears kind of gotten those communication issues figured out? And the reason I say that is because it was a point of emphasis in the whole let's go have a meeting with Shane Waldron and get everything figured out, right? It was all about how the team was communicating together. When you leave this game, do you feel like the Bears have sorted out some of those communication issues that they had brought up, of course, to Shane Waldron, but just that we can kind of see on the field in general?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I think that they've come away from that meeting improving on their communication issues. I won't sit here and say that, it's just been completely fixed, but let's just say for now they put a Band-Aid over the issue. Okay, they've resolved it for at least 1 week, where they figured out the run game, they figured out the right play calls, they figured out the right personnel, and it led to a victory over a very well-coached team that had its own deficiencies, that had a very good game managing quarterback, that has one of the top head coaches offensively minded in the league in Sean McVay, and you won against that team. And so clearly, yes, people were on the same page this week, but we need to see that continue. We don't need to see that kind of just be a one-hit pony, one-trick pony thing. And that's why I'm not going to sit here and say they've completely just fixed everything. We have to see a track record of that success. You know, you're coming up on a couple of games where you should win. You should win. I mean, Carolina is your next opponent. I mean, come on, That should be where you fix a lot more
No,
issues, if I'm
I
being
don't know
honest.
how you lose against Carolina. If you
I
find a
don't
way to lose
either,
against
but
Carolina,
I
we
mean,
riot.
we said the same thing when it came to the Colts, but we
We
lost.
did.
But
We did.
my my thing is, let's see the improvement. Let's see, okay, what else can we work on against a team that is pretty much probably one of the worst, or not the worst teams in the league. So yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see Shane Waldron put some games together where, okay, now he gets it. It's not just a 1 week thing. He's made the adjustments. We don't have to have any more of these meetings. We don't have to have the league council of players come to his door, kicking his door down like, hey, what is
Are they
going on with you?
superheroes now?
Yeah, yeah, the League of Extraordinary
The
Gentlemen is
League of
knocking on the door.
Extraordinary Bears. They're,
Like,
they're
like, come on,
superheroes
man.
now. I like
Caleb's
that.
already know the Superman. Who was Mercedes Lewis is like old
Oof.
Hulk with the gray
Yeah,
beard.
Mercedes Lewis is like Jean from the Justice League. Like he
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah. It's
didn't. You know what I mean,
we don't need
hundreds
any
of
more of
years
these
old.
meetings. Yeah, like let's keep that to one minimum. Okay, so we hope that they fix the communication issues. Like I said before, this is something that I feel like could have gotten hashed out in preseason, in training camp, but it's good that we're now seeing that everybody's on the same page. Now, what I want to see next is everybody get healthy, and as we go forward too as well.
See, I would actually push back on that. By the way, if you're in here right now, I need y'all to do me a favor. Go ahead and
Come on,
Oh yeah.
push the button. Come on,
Hmm.
push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
y'all heard what Sue Young said. Push the goddamn button, man. Stop playing with us. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. I would actually push back on the fact that that all the communication issues are fixed, so that the Bears were on the same page. Because I also watched the first half. I also watched the DJ Moore overthrows. I think that they got closer. I think that they were able to find their way to the same page by the end of the game. But again, we're 4 weeks into the season. I'm still seeing some of the same mistakes. I'm still seeing my quarterback and my wide receiver not be on the same page. I'm still seeing my offensive coordinator not have this team off to a good start to start the game. There seems to be no rhythm. I mean, listen, there's absolutely zero rhythm in the script right now, which is concerning because you practice the script all week. You know what I mean? Like the first 15 plays is supposed to be, these are our best plays. This is what we run. This is what we're going to dominate with. Let's go to work. Here we go. 28 yards.
Hey man, it's like Tropic Thunder. It's like Robert Downey. The script don't read me. I don't read the script. The script read me. That's
I
how
don't read
Waldron
scripts,
plays
read me. Yeah, no, like I
Sure.
just I'm not, I don't feel like I said this yesterday, right? I think that this win versus the Rams was a competent win. I don't know if I feel that it was a confident win. And the confident part of that to me, it comes from the fact that I do still think there are communication issues with this Bears team. I do still think that there are, issues, of course, with the offensive line. I think that there are issues all around this team still that are maybe a little bit masked this week because you go out and get a win, which is fine. That's what winning does. But you can't ignore the fact that you still have these issues and still need to fix them. And I think that's the part for me where I can't say that the Bears are all on the same page on everything. I think they got on the page enough to get a win in this game, and maybe you continue to get right versus the Panthers, but you got to figure this out sooner than later. Like I said, we are going into week 5, and I just feel like, we're still talking about the same stuff we were talking about week 2 of preseason.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. We are talking about week 2 of preseason in a sense, but here's my thing. The reason why I think it will continue to improve is because you're seeing improvement on all different levels. You're seeing improvement in all phases of the game from the Bears. Obviously, the defense, I feel like they don't have an issue with communication. I think the offense is where we're seeing most of the improvement, especially when you need, like, let's just say, for instance, when you're talking about constantly putting out more 12 men lineups so you can get more protection for Caleb. Like,
Right.
those are the things that I'm seeing kind of make an improvement when it comes to this team. When it comes to Shane Waldron making those adjustments, even when you guys got guys like Tevin Jenkins getting put out of the game with I believe it was a rib injury.
Yeah,
You know,
Tevin Jenkins going out with a bruised rib injury. Yeah.
yeah. You when you have those type of things, you have to kind of go on the fly. And you even mentioned it too. We thought that Roshan Johnson was going to get more carries during the game. We thought that, this was for sure going to be the Rojo game where he probably was going to get the first number of carries. When we saw DeAndre Swift out there at first, we were like, well, what's going on? But as the game, continues to carry on, you saw that he was doing his job. And so they made adjustments and they communicated and say, well, we're going to keep him out there. That's what I want to see. I want to see those smart decisions made by Shane Waldron and the head coaching staff time and time again. Those are the things that I think will continue to improve the more and more we get into the season. And again, as I've said before, we have a weak schedule. So these are the things that you need to kind of improve on for the next, 5 maybe games that we have, I believe. I believe the first 8 games are kind of part of our week schedule. So we're at 2-2. So six more games, no, 4 more games, I believe, that we have before we get into the divisional rounds of our
Yeah, you
so
got Panthers, you got Jaguars, you got Commanders, you got Cardinals, you got Patriots. Those are all very winnable games.
so
And
5
they're
more
all
games
games that you can
before.
get right against, right? And then where you can kind of find your rhythm.
Yeah.
And then you get into the meat and potatoes of your schedule. Packers, Vikings, Lions, Niners, Vikings, Lions, Seahawks, Packers. You know what I mean? Like that's really when you get into the like I said, I said the meat and potatoes. So
You
yeah,
dang right.
calm down
You
there,
say it
meaty.
again, meat and
Calm
potatoes,
down there,
baby.
meaty.
All right.
But no, I just think that you've got time to fix the issues, but my problem is the fact that these are still issues. I understand, an offense taking time to get going. Heck, look around the NFL. There's like 2 or 3 offenses really going. I think the Lions
That's
got
true.
it going.
Ooh,
The
they showed it
Ravens got
yesterday.
it
My God.
going.
God.
Is that it?
That it? That's what I was about to say. What are the averages? Who is the offensive leader in the league right now?
Offense is really taking a step back to start the season. I'm trying to think of another team that's like a high scoring, high powered team. Like the Niners have had a couple of good games, but nothing
Well, I mean,
crazy.
if we're being honest, I have been impressed with Minnesota. If we're just keeping it
Well,
within
hey,
our
listen,
division,
if I'm
Minnesota
gonna
has
throw
been
high,
pretty
Minnesota
powerful.
as well. Minnesota as well. If I'm gonna throw high powered out there though, Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders have been a high powered offense.
They're
So
efficient. Yep, they've been pretty efficient. Yeah.
so I guess I'll throw them out there as well. But that's it. Has any other offense in the league really stood out?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even
It's
offense is that the Chiefs don't look good offensively right now.
no, and they're not going to look good. My God, Rashee Rice is out. You got your boy Hollywood Brown is on IR. Travis Kelce looks like he's getting up there in age. He's looked like he took a step back. Man, Patrick Mahomes is going to have to make magic happen again this year.
Listen,
Isaiah Pacheco's on IR. Jesus.
Pacheco's down. There's some ugly situations. Like and that's why I take everything right now that we're seeing with it should get better. It has to get better offensively.
True.
It can get better. But I think that Seattle's a good one too. I throw Seattle in there. Seattle got a nice little offensive team right now. But you got to start making these strides. And I think that's the thing, right? Did we see a step forward in the Bears communication? I don't know if we did.
Yeah, just a little
I don't know, dog. I mean, is getting on the same page for a half a step forward?
I mean, if it's in the second half, yeah. It seems like we're a second half team.
We got to get the first half second half team. That is facts. It does seem like the Bears are a second half team.
We seem to get out the gate kind of slow. We get the engine sputtering, but once we get up to a certain mileage, we're humming. We're humming.
Yeah. By the way, I know I had to go through a couple of back channels to find this, but over 100 in the chat. Had to go through a few back channel ways to get that in there, but But no, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Let us know your thoughts. Do you think that the Chicago Bears communication has improved? Do you think that this Bears team is moving in the right direction as far as communicating? Now we got to talk about something that is a very interesting topic here. Want to talk about the possibility of the Chicago Bears trading Keenan Allen. We just got him. We just got him. Why are we talking about this? Because Peter Schrager put out an article that that may have some intrigue to some Bears fans, and it is at least worth having the conversation. We'll talk about that right after this. Happening, Bears Nation, it's your boy Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze, where we keep it 100 about everything Chicago Bears. Now, if you're like me, you don't just watch the game, you live it, and that's why you need to check out BetDSI. BetDSI is where it's at if you want to put your money where your mouth is. They've been doing it for over 20 years, giving you the best odds, lightning fast payouts, and a platform that's as solid as the best O-line. Whether you're betting on the Bears to take it all the way or making clutch live bets during the game, BetDSI has you covered. And here is the kicker. Just because you're rolling with the Windy City Breeze, BetDSI is hooking you up. Sign up today with the promo code WCB, and they'll give you a 120% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. That's free money, folks, to make sure that you're winning as you back our boys in the blue and orange. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Head over to betdsi.eu, use the code WCB, and start turning your Bears passion into serious cash. BetDSI, where real Bears fans get it done. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. If you have not hit that like button, man, go ahead and do that for us.
Yes, sir.
We were just talking about how the Chicago Bears fix their communication issues, but the Bears may be communicating something else in the trade talks with some of the struggles that they got going on this team right now. And possibly having to tell Keenan Allen he's going to be a Chief. That's what Peter Schrager brings up in this in Good Morning Football. Names that he just mentioned on Good Morning Football that could possibly be at least worth calling on if you're Brett Veach from Kansas City. Of course, this stems from the situation with Rashee Rice, where he is not going to be available for the most part. Amari Cooper, Jalen Hyatt, Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen said that KC is now down there running back 1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 for the foreseeable future. Fascinating few days for the two-time defending champs. Is there a scenario, JC, where you see the Chicago Bears taking a call from Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs, who, I mean, probably would call because, I mean, Ryan Poles, the connection is there. So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that they call on it. But would you see the Chicago Bears moving on from Keenan Allen?
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, Ryan Poles does have a good working relationship with his former team that he's worked for. They clearly have a needed wide receiver. We just talked about all the guys that are just down and out for the count, unfortunately, with Xavier Worthy and I think Juju Smith-Schuster being their best options now.
Yeah.
Outside of Travis
Which
Kelce,
for fantasy purposes, as
what do
a
you got for
Xavier
fantasy?
Worthy owner for
You picked
fantasy
Xavier. Did you
purposes.
draft Xavier Worthy?
I did draft Xavier Worthy late. I drafted Xavier Worthy in my keeper league after the 10th round. So for fantasy purposes,
all right, you're doing pretty good. I did pick up Carson Steele and Kareem Hunt just to make
I got
sure.
Carson Steele as well in another
Looks like they
league.
might be going back in the time machine. I think Kareem Hunt might be getting the snaps.
Yeah, I'm dropping
based off of
Carson
the last
Steele.
game.
He fumbled, and they were like, "Get your
Get out of here!" Short leash. But do I think that they will take the call? Yes, I think they will listen up. And here's another reason why I say that, because if we're talking about for offensive line purposes for the Bears, there's a couple of names on this Chiefs team that I sure would love to that can address some deficiencies on the offensive line. Now, I'm not saying this could be realistic, but hey, let's just throw it out there since Peter Schrager wants to get a little fancy. I want to get fancy too. I'm gonna be asking for Creed Humphrey back if they want Keenan Allen. If you look at his fifth grades, his run block grade is 93.1 and his passing grade is at 80.1. He's a 92.7 overall in PFF, probably one of the best centers in the league. If you want to give Keenan Allen and say your second round pick from Carolina for next year, which is probably going to be the top pick in the second round, let's talk.
Yeah, nah.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on, Pat.
I tried. I literally was gonna go like, well, maybe for the top pick in the second round and Keenan Allen, you're not getting Creed Humphreys out of them. I die. Like, nah, that's not gonna happen.
That's fine. I was shooting high first. Okay, that's fine. Let's come down a few pegs. We know we need a center, but we also know we need a guard. You see, some of the people in the chat are talking. They know exactly where I'm going. Kirk, Pabalade, Trey Smith, baby. He's second on this list. 84.1 passing grade, blocking grade, 62.8, but overall 86.6 in PFF, all right? That guy probably can replace Nate Davis in his sleep right now. Let's do it.
Listen, if he pulls off a trade where he sends Keenan Allen and a draft pick for an offensive lineman that is of any ilk, you gotta say that, 'cause he loves a backup right guard. You know what I mean? This guy can't get enough of a backup to a backup. If he pulls that off, we will then again dub him King Poles, because
that would be epic.
That would be like, it's like, how did you just fleece the Kansas City Chiefs like this?
One of the best organizations.
You know what I mean? Like that's a fleece, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it is a realistic scenario where the Chicago Bears go out there and they fix their offensive line woes based on this. I think the more than likely scenario is you end up getting back a draft pick. And possibly a draft pick that is higher than what the Chicago Bears sent out. I think because of the need and because of the likelihood that most of these other teams probably are not trading their wide receivers either, right? You're probably not trading Amari Cooper. You're probably not trading Jalen Hyatt. You're definitely not trading Cooper Kupp. I guess maybe Cooper Kupp could be in there because of the Puka Nacua setup, but I mean, Cooper Kupp's hurt too. Like, why would they trade for somebody who's hurt? Well, I guess Keenan Allen's been hurt as well, so like, there is that. But I think the more than likely scenarios, you'd probably get back some draft capital. You'd probably get back draft capital that is guaranteed to be higher than what you sent out, and that's really what the Keenan Allen move is to me. One, you're able to go, and I think that's the thing. I don't think people understand the long term of the Keenan Allen move to me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Keenan Allen being here. The long term of the Keenan Allen move in my mind is, and how I think Ryan Poles approached it is, I'm going to trade a fourth. I get the compensatory pick. The worst case scenario is I get Keenan Allen.
There is that.
And then I let him go and I get a compensatory pick. The best case scenario is I get Keenan Allen. He's still Keenan Allen of the past. He's phenomenal. We work out a nice deal, and I've got Keenan Allen long term. But I don't think that you're tied to Keenan Allen right now because of this elite wide receiver that he once was. I think that the move was to say the worst thing I'm getting this season is Keenan Allen, and I probably get a compensatory pick, which could be a 4th round pick. But maybe if he balls out again, I get a 3rd round pick, right? Like that's what this is in my mind. It was I'm going to get this guy to flip this guy for a better pick to come back my way. It was a picks deal anyway. And so now I don't believe that the Bears will trade Keenan Allen. I don't believe that they'll move off of Keenan Allen.
Realistically, no.
I think that he's going to be here and they want him here for the development of Caleb Williams. You see what he brought back to that game. And I know everybody's looking at just the receiving yards and the receiving contribution. No, it was the leadership that you saw in that second half between him and DJ Moore, the ability to go out there and even while hurt, still be one of the better blockers on the field. The ability while hurt to still be a 3rd down conversion guy. Like that's why he's here, to be a safety blanket kind of for your rookie and to get everybody else in the right gear. But if Kansas City comes offering like a 2nd round pick,
oh boy,
because they're desperate. Let's not get it twisted. They
are desperate.
Unless Xavier Worthy, who I think is going to be a heavily used, is going to be an Xavier Worthy week.
Yeah,
turns into something where they're going to get
Tyreek Hill.
You know what I mean? Turns into a Tyreek Hill type of player. You're probably not feeling very comfortable. You're probably feeling in more of a desperation situation. And let's be real, they're going for it.
Yeah.
They want to win that 3rd Super Bowl in a row. No team ever has done that. Remember? Yeah, no team has won 3 in a row. In the modern Super Bowl era, I should say, maybe. I'm sure there's 3 championships in a row. Is that facts?
I was gonna say, what was the team that got there about 3 or 4 times with Jim?
Well, that was the Bills. They lost.
Yeah, but they never left. They never won. Yeah.
Yeah, no NFL team has won 3. I don't know why they've been blank because I woke up 20 minutes ago. No NFL team has won 3 consecutive Super Bowls, and the Kansas City Chiefs could become the first. They're going for that record. And so you may get a little bit more out of it because of the desperation that they may be. And they're not thinking in the mindset of, well, the long term of this could affect us. In the long term, we got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
In the long term, we still got all the offensive linemen that were previously named, Creed Humphrey, stuff like that. In the long term, we got a young Xavier Worthy. In the long term, we've got, you know what I mean? So I think that if Xavier Worthy doesn't come out there and immediately ball out and he's not dominating, right? Like that is a scenario in my mind where the Bears could actually get creative and possibly get a higher draft pick back for Keenan Allen than maybe what you could in the comp pick. But then you have to kind of assess, okay, what is Keenan Allen? What is his value to a young quarterback? And that was worth more in the long term than whatever that 2nd round pick could be.
Yeah, that's the dilemma here, right? If we're going to put this scenario out there for real, is that 2nd round pick? I feel like that's a huge overvalue for Keenan Allen at this point. Even though we know Keenan Allen just came off of a really good season, a 6-time Pro Bowler, is a guy that can kind of bring that steady offense, a guy that's reliable. At this point, he's still a vet wide receiver. He's coming into like the last couple of years in a sense of his career. as a really good receiver. And so a second round pick is, man, that is getting desperate. I would assume like on a normal trade, he's probably worth maybe fourth, third
Well,
at the
yeah, the one we
most. Third
traded him
at the
for.
most. Yeah. Yeah. So you cut that in half, you get in the second round. That's very enticing. But does that outweigh the mentorship, the leadership that he brings to the team now for a rising star like Caleb Williams? To me, I feel like you don't rattle the cage with that right now. I feel like he's more valuable to this team as constructed now because, as you mentioned, didn't really blow us away with the yardage, the other day. But he did the little things that led to a win. And if you saw even on the sideline when Caleb was showing his leadership skills, talking to DJ, Keenan was right there. Keenan had his voice as well heard. And you've seen that multiple times where Keenan is trying to show Caleb Williams, even when I believe he was out a few games, he was talking to him on the sideline of how to improve. And so that's very pivotal for a young quarterback to hear from a mentor because you're not going to get that from DJ, in my opinion. DJ's not that kind of guy, in my opinion, where he's going to come and bring Caleb to the side and say, hey, this is where we need to improve. We've
Right.
already seen it. DJ's kind of like to himself. He's a quiet, he goes about his business a different way. You're definitely not going to get that from Roma Dunze as a rookie. So Keenan Allen, as far as this wide receiving core, is that guy that needs to be that mentor, is that guy that needs to be that leader in the locker room that you need this year while we try to figure out all the different deficiencies, on this team. So I believe he's more valuable with this team standing pat.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that I don't know. That is tough. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say if you offer me a second, I'm not looking at it, but I
I'm
do
looking
look
at it.
I
I'm
do
looking
look at
at
the
it.
value. I mean, listen, that's a deal.
Because then you got to also keep in mind,
That's
like
tough,
you're
dog.
you're you're
I don't know
taking
if
a
I
chance on
can't
the
take that.
season.
I don't know if I can't take that. Right?
You're
Because
taking a chance on the season.
if you don't sign him at the end of the year, unless you feel that his impact on Caleb is astronomical, right? That's the only way I see it. If you feel that his impact on Caleb is astronomical, that's different. Like it's literally like this guy's night and day,
Yeah.
and we're still gonna get a pick out of it anyway. I think that would be looked at as tough though if we get to the end of the year and you let Keenan Allen walk, and all of a sudden you're sitting there going, yeah, we probably could have had a second round pick, but instead we got a third. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing that I think would make this a little bit tougher. By the way, over 200 in the chat.
Oh, let's go, baby.
200. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing for me that I think makes it difficult to just say, it's simple to just keep Keenan Allen no matter the situation. But again,
Right.
that's if the Chiefs are desperate. I don't think you're going to hear anything about this kind of deal until we see a couple of weeks of Xavier Worthy probably leading the way. And guess what the Chiefs are really good at? Finding wide receivers that end up being fine. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs are really good at finding a guy that is like, who was this guy? We don't know. What's he good at? We don't know. Look at that. He's got 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks. So like, I think that there is some of that, and I think now you'll get to see Xavier Worthy probably show a little bit more of the receiving skills that he didn't get an opportunity, hasn't had an opportunity to show. He's really just kind of been your deep threat wide receiver for the most part with that team. Take the top off type of wide receiver.
He has
think
more
he'd
to
still
him.
be that, but now, he had more tools in college. I think now you'll get to see him, utilize some of those tools as well. So we'll see we'll see, kind of what they do. I think it all stems from that, though. I don't think that there's a call. I don't think that there's a deal being worked out. I don't think that there's anything happening until you find out whether you've got guys on your team already that can play.
Yeah.
So I think that's the beginning and the end of the conversation there. It's all fantasy. I do think they will call. I do think that there will be a conversation between Poles and Veach, but I don't think that it ends up getting anything done. So that's my opinion on it. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always, man. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. And now we get to pivot
Oh, here we
because the
go.
NBA is officially back. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love, man. We got basketball again,
We
JC.
got basketball, baby.
I missed basketball. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. I missed
Kind of, sort of,
the
yeah,
NBA.
yeah.
I've been it's been a tough few months of just straight Bears football, because not to say I don't enjoy talking Bears football, but it's literally at a certain point you just start going like, all right, how many ways can I attack this story? And you need that other element in there to talk about. So we got NBA Media Day yesterday. I thought NBA Media Day was we got some good storylines out of it, some interesting names brought up. Got to hear from around the league. First off, got to see the first bit of Klay Thompson in a Mavs jersey, which was wild.
Yeah. Feels weird.
Wild.
Feels weird.
It was weird to see. And he was
Yeah.
like, I just felt like I needed a change. I just felt like I needed something a little bit different. But we also got to hear from our own Chicago Bulls. I don't know if you saw the picture of the Bulls that I tweeted out with just Zach LaVine and freaking Nikola Vucevic looking despondent.
I saw that pic.
Snap this from the side. Who snapped this picture? Because this is exactly how I feel about this Chicago Bears upcoming season. Chicago Bulls upcoming season. It all applies. But the Chicago Bulls Media Day was yesterday. And listen, at the end of the day, the team is very different. We got to hear from Josh Giddey, of course, getting to hear from Zach LaVine. And dare I say, let's start it there. When we heard from Zach LaVine, dare I say, the thing that I left Zach LaVine's Media Day feeling, the Media Day press conference feeling, was that Zach LaVine has accepted the fact that his value that he has on himself is not where the league has his value right now. And because of that, he's got to build that value back up. And he's willing to do whatever it takes to build that value back up. If it means being that off-ball guy, if it means being the other guy, if it means being the guy who can, who I think will benefit from being next to Josh Giddey. Who we also got to talk about that as well. That's a whole different situation right there.
Jesus.
But what was your takeaway from what we heard from Zach LaVine at Media Day?
It's funny you said he's accepted his role. It's almost like you're saying he's accepted defeat, knowing that he's not as valuable as he thought he was.
Accepting defeat, because it's like, listen, like, hey, here's the thing: Zach LaVine with Josh Giddey playing in the role that he's probably going to be playing, probably is still a 25+ point per game player if he's healthy.
Absolutely.
Well, the value will still be there. So it's not like Zach is taking this massive hit. Like, I think him being I think him being that off-ball guy will be fine, right? Him being the guy who lets Giddey have the ball in his hands more will work out just fine for the Bulls. But I do think that you have to have that conversation on how accepting is he of that role? How accepting is he going to be of that role? And at least right now, with the words that he's saying, he's accepting it.
I'll put it like this. I feel like I came away thinking that Zach LaVine said all of the right things. I'll wait to kind of put any stock in his words, because in my opinion, I've seen this show before to a certain extent, where Zach LaVine went to Team USA and he implemented himself as more of a defensive player on the team. He wasn't the go-to guy, clearly, on a team full of all-stars and superstars, and so he played his role perfectly. He said he would bring that same mentality back to the Bulls, where he was going to start playing defense. You saw that in the first couple of games, I believe, where he was that guy on both ends of the floor.
Oh yeah, he's doing everything he needed to do.
And then it turned right back around to old Zach LaVine, baby. So I say that to say, okay, yeah, it sounds good. You do like the fact that he said, he took the time of this offseason to really, mull things over. It's given him time to think. He loves the people that he has around him that has allowed him to kind of mature and just keep things and put things in perspective. He said, we're trying to crowd out all the noise, all the false narratives, this issue between me and the organization, that's in the past. He said, if there's anything that needs to get fixed, or you hear it from me, or you hear it from my team, or you hear it from the organization, like everything else is just nothing at this point. And so you like that he's playing nice. You like, okay, maybe the relationship with Billy is repaired, the relationship with the organization is repaired, and he understands, hey, this is where I'm going to be, and so I have to do what I have to do to either be a mentor in a sense at this point, and not come in thinking that I'm going to be the guy, because this is going to be more of an open team ball type of concept with this team, with all these young players coming in, and he's got to fill a role now at this time.
Yeah, I think here's the thing with Zach for me that can still be very beneficial to the Chicago Bulls, right? Can still be very can still put the Bulls in a good position this year. And what may make it tough, right? At the end of the year, what may make it tough at the end of the day for this team, because you probably still are gonna have to move them, right? Like I don't know if the relationships are all
Eventually.
fixed. I don't know if the relationships are all in the right direction, but I do think there's going to be a little bit of a boost to start this season. I do think there's going to be a little bit of cohesiveness to start this season. I think that Zach LaVine with Josh Giddey playing that off-ball role is perfect. I think that if Kobe White can become that guy that everybody thinks he can become, that can continue to develop and stay off, P kids, I hate this kid radar, because kids quick to turn on him.
Oh my God.
He was back in on him last season. He's quick to turn on him again.
Yeah.
But if he can stay off of that radar, like that is one of those things where, dare I say, I left media day yesterday going, I can see how this team is good. I don't think that they'll be very good. I think that they'll be a mediocre competitive team. 30. I think I said I got the Bulls at 36 wins. I think that they'll be
That's
very
not good.
Oh no, not at all. I think they'll be a play-in team, or competing for that last play-in spot, I should say. I don't think that the Bulls got dramatically better. I think defensively they are going to be horrible.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, oh.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's all I got for that. Yeah, I think the defense is going to be kind of putrid. I'm gonna be honest with you. Here's where I see them improving. If they can get to a point where they imitate or kind of mirror the Indiana Pacers, because if we're going to put a comparison to this team, a young team that is good in pace, you heard AK say our emphasis is going to be on trying to be a more fast-paced, energetic, tough team. That's in the mode of an Indiana Pacers team, where they're not necessarily the best on defense, but they will stay with you on offense. They will put in a bunch of points. They're going to run and gun. They're led by a really good point guard that gets everybody involved. I mean, that's kind of the mode that we're going for. Josh Giddey is somebody who is a tall point guard that can do it all, that will continue to be on the break. And even when you heard Josh Giddey speak, he said that him, Matas, and I believe Zach talked about playing up tempo. And he mentioned that we started scrimmaging with 14-second shot clocks to emphasize the pace we want to play. Once it becomes a habit, this team's going to be scary in the open court. And so that's the kind of play that they want to emphasize. We've heard it before. We've heard Billy Donovan claim, they want to play fast pace in the past. We've heard AK claim that they want to play fast pace in the past, fast pace in the past. Well, that's a mouthful. But
what now?
Whoa. I did say mouthful, but whoa. All right. Anyway, I think that this is the year where they actually mean it. They have the roster, they have the youth to actually kind of back up that statement. And so we'll see how that how we go about that.
I think what's tough with that is, where does that leave Vooch? That was my biggest question.
Vooch ain't running for nothing.
I heard all of that. I was like, okay, up tempo, like that. Here we go. Vooch is your starting center. He can't run. You know what I mean?
I don't think he can't, and nor does he want to at this point.
What right? Like, that's not his game. So how do you implement Vooch into that style of offense? Are you telling me that Vooch is going to be coming off of the bench? Now, we did hear from Jalen Smith that Jalen Smith was told that he would have the opportunity to compete for the starting job on this team. Dare I say, I think that Vooch is committed enough to the Chicago Bulls because, listen, he came back, he wanted to be here, got the deal done, got his money, whatever. I think that Vooch is committed enough to being a part of this team that he's the one player that I do think you could go to and be like, hey, we want to bring you off of the bench. We think you'll be more beneficial to stabilizing the bench. We think you'll be more beneficial to being the leading guy off of that bench. Maybe not the sixth man, but that guy that when we bring in that full bench unit, you stabilize those young guys out there and you get to just be Vooch out there. I think that you could have that conversation with Vooch, but the conversation you can't have is that the Chicago Bulls will be an up-tempo team with Nikola Vucevic as the trailer because he doesn't shoot the three ball well enough. That's how those teams that have those high tempo, because everybody's like, well, the Sixers do it and the Nuggets do it. Why do they run high tempo? Because Jokic can shoot 30. What is Jokic? 38% from three.
Oh yeah, Jokic is like a big point guard as well.
Well, that too. But I'm saying like when they pushed the tempo, Jokic last season shot 35%. He was a little bit down. Season before he was 38%. Jokic has been back and forth his whole career. Jokic, dog, 33, 32, 39, 30, 31, 38, 33, 38, 35. Jokic, you all over
mid 30s. Yeah.
Mid 30s though. But like you have to have that big, right? Joel Embiid is the other one. He's kind of slow, but they can be up tempo. Joel Embiid can knock down the three ball. You know what I mean? He's somebody who is sitting at last season 38%. He's been around a 38% shooter for most of his career. I think that is something that you can utilize when you have that up tempo kind of speed with a slower big man. We don't have that. Vooch is 34%. He's not knocking that three down at a high clip. And so I think that you could go full youth movement in this starting lineup with Zach LaVine if you wanted to, with Jalen Smith running the floor, but that's the only way that high tempo 14-second shot clock works for me.
But is that the conversation you're going to have? Like at this point, it's really all about buying into the youth movement. I think we're done with the three-headed monster of obviously DeMar's gone. You know, Alex Caruso is gone. He's gone to OKC. So you have some of the older vets already out the door. Zach is essentially the last of that, along with Vooch is the last of that, along with Zach being on that cusp as well. So I believe like he should be coming off the bench at this point. You know, he's a guy that should back up the youth. Jalen Smith is a guy that's high energy, will get you rebounds. He can do some of the same things that Vooch can do as far as shooting the ball. I believe he's just a better roster fit for this starting lineup. If they want to play fast pace, you're talking about getting into your offense 14 seconds in, like Vooch is Vooch is going to be worn out by half first quarter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to work with him. So I feel like there's a conversation where he has to be realistic and say, hey, maybe I do need to take a step back and let these young guys run.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go, hey, I'm gonna get my job up. You know what I mean? So, and I don't think Vooch would be opposed to it just because I think that there is I think you could have the conversation. I'm not going to say he wouldn't be opposed to it. I think you can have the conversation just because there is there's probably an element where if you want to slow things down, if you want to bring him off of the bench, if you want to let him kind of have a go at it, go down in the post and dominate real quick with the young guys, with a Dalen Terry and a Modest Bucilis and and you know, like you've got these guys out there with you that can help you out and shoot from the perimeter, stuff like that. Shoot from the perimeter. Dalen Terry.
I was about to say.
I love DT, dog, but like every year I'm just like, what's he doing here? Like,
he's shown some promise. I mean, he definitely impressed me the one year where I thought he was out of rotation, and when he came back in, he showed himself to be really good on defense. I mean, he's long, he's athletic. That's where he's kind of his calling card is. Kind of like in the mode of Jimmy Butler in the first couple of years, where you knew that's all he was giving on when he got on the floor. You're not relying on him for offense.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler was shutting people down.
That is true.
They're like, no, dog, we're not saying just like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler got on the floor, and we was like,
but early Jimmy Butler, like early youth,
even early Jimmy Butler,
trying to figure things out.
Hey, what was that? What was that? Year 2, Jimmy Butler was sitting there fighting with LeBron,
fighting with Carmelo Anthony. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not at all, dog.
I tried to make it work. I tried to make it
like
work.
Jimmy Butler. No, he's like James Butlers.
What is that?
Who's
Like
that?
the
We don't know.
doppelganger? Is that the doppelganger of James
Yeah, who's
Butler?
that? We don't know.
James Butler. Okay.
James Butless. That's who that mug is.
Oh my
But no,
God.
I think that here's my thing with where the Bulls are heading, and kind of my takeaway from media day is there are going to be some shakeups, there are going to be some changes. Dare
yeah.
I say, you may still be in a position where you end up trading Zach LaVine away. If you can build up some of that value, and teams are going to get needy. Dare I say, you may be in that position with Vooch. And here's what the other question that I had coming out of yesterday was: if you had to pick one to move, I know everybody's ready to move on from Zach LaVine and all of that, but let's say Zach buys into the role. If you had to pick one to move, are you moving on from Zach, or are you moving on from Vooch?
I'm moving on from Vooch. That's not even a question. One is bought into the fact that his role is not going to be. He doesn't need to be the guy, and he's going to step out of the way of the
We'll see.
development.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
we will see. Because
We'll
I
see.
still don't buy that yet. But what he's saying, it sounds good. But I feel like he's okay with seeing the development of the other players, seeing Kobe White take a step forward, especially with an actual pure point guard next to him now. Feel like Kobe is going to take off with just doing what he does best, which is score at all three levels. So Vooch, I feel like, is at a point where, hey, you just got to, give him up for whatever it is that you can get back. And he's just not spry enough to keep up with the team like this.
Well, I think here's the thing. I think Vooch will have tremendous value. I think that he's a player who that everyone wants at the deadline. How many deadlines have we gone into where everybody's like, what the Lakers really could use right now? A big who can dominate down low and has a good basketball IQ and can facilitate the basketball. Every single year, the Lakers are looking for Vooch. Like every year, they're looking for that guy. So I don't think that it would be difficult to move Vooch. I think that you could actually get some good value back for him. Maybe I don't know about good, surprising value back for him. But
I like surprising. It's a good word. Yeah.
I think that you're still at a crossroads here as you head into this season. You're still at you're still looking at a situation where the Chicago Bulls are trying to pivot away from what they once had, but couldn't pivot off of all of the pieces in the offseason. We know if they could, they would have, right?
Yeah.
And now you're to a point where you're going to have to make some tough decisions. I think if the Zach LaVine thing is working out, you're not going to move on from Zach LaVine. You would rather hold on to him, but it also depends on if Zach is happy with this team. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. It also depends on if Zach wants to be a Chicago Bull. I hear, when you say you hear him saying all the right things, that's what I hear every time he goes, every time I put on this Bulls jersey, I do it with pride. So yeah, that's the right thing to say. And I'm not saying that you don't, but I think you would rather be putting on a Laker jersey right now.
He's a professional. He's going to be very professional. He shows professionalism.
And I give him credit for that, because behind the scenes, behind closed doors, listen, as irritated as we are with this front office on the side that we sit on, imagine if you had to sit in a room with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the decisions that are made where you're like, that don't really make sense. Imagine if those decisions are being made around you. Like that's why I give him credit for being the professional that he is, because we sit out here and we ready to flip tables at AK, and friggin' we don't even see AK. By the way, AK, just stop talking, bro. We don't care anymore.
The same things.
We don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Every single press conference, bro, is just yes. We're going to compete, and we are ready to go out there and fight. And we come every year, and we're ready to go. We are not giving up. We will not run away. We will not.
Oh my God.
We don't need to hear it no more, dog. Just stop talking, and don't send Mark Eversley either. Where's Paxton? Is still in the building. Send me John Paxton.
You want Paxton?
Yes, Paxton used to talk with because Gar Forman was so bad at it, and you would at least you wouldn't want to hear what Pax had to say, but at least Pax could communicate it to you, dog. Like, bro, like I'm sick of hearing the same thing every single year. Bro, he getting them bro. He getting them like a mug, dog.
Bro, okay. All right. I got to compose myself. I had a question. I had one last question I wanted to pose to you because
what's good?
Out of all the, because I mean, we built a very young roster and we actually brought a lot of players that honestly I wanted years ago. You know, you got your Taylor Horton Tuckers on this team. You got EJ Liddell.
Yeah,
you got all type of players.
It's all the dudes me and Hayes said draft.
Yeah, just like they finally brought them all back here. But there is one name. But I was just going to ask you, who do you think out of the names at the bottom of the roster could impact this team and could make the team? Like, is there a name that stands out?
Maybe
at
the bottom of the roster.
Kenny Lofton Jr.
You know, I think Kenny Lofton Jr. could make it because we know Billy loves an undersized big.
He's 6'6".
He loves the guy he can throw out there that's gonna get dominated against other big men and to throw him out there. Out of the three names on the, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know. I think that a lot of these names were brought in to light a fire under the guys you have here. I think that these names were brought in to light a fire under Dalen Terry. I think that these names were brought in to light a fire under not really Modest Bucilis because he's already been here.
Dalen needs a fire lit under him. He just needs to get more talented. That's all.
Well, that's the problem. You know what I mean? I got to bring guys in so that you can show me that you're talented because it don't look good at times.
Well, I'll put it to you like this, Pat. Now, the one name that I do want to see make this team that I think will have more of an impact than the others is Chris Duarte. I feel like Chris Duarte started off his career.
Still 3-and-D.
I feel like 3-and-D is somebody that we really need outside of Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams is dealing with the ouchies every year. I feel like Chris Duarte is that guy who is a tough 3-and-D player that really, really was good, had a good trajectory, started with Indiana. And then when he went to Sacramento, kind of fell off, kind of just got lost in the roster.
Yeah.
But he's a guy who I think is a reliable, consistent shooter that you need on the team.
Yeah, when Chris Duarte was getting minutes, you know, he was a 13-point per game player his rookie year. He's like you said, he's consistently falling off every season. I mean, like the problem with Duarte is not the fact that the defense has fallen off. The problem is the three has fallen off. I mean, every year his three ball has gotten just worse and worse, and you gotta. I mean, at a certain point, you gotta find something to be consistent with. I can't sit here and tell you that working with the Bulls trainers is going to turn him into a 3-point shooter because we don't have any.
We have never seen it.
We don't have any. We've got one 3-point shooter and we're trying to trade him. Well, we got two. We got Kobe. But your bottom of the roster guys that could make it: Lofton, Liddell, Duarte, Horton Tucker.
Throw Bateem in there probably. I don't know.
Bateem in there probably.
DJ Stewart. I like that name, DJ Stewart.
I would like to see it. Here's the thing. What I would like to see is the guys we already have pan out. I would love to see Onur Bateem pan out. You know what I mean? Because he's a guy that can shoot the 3 ball. He's a guy that can get to the bucket. He's a guy that can do a little facilitating, not a crazy amount, but do a little facilitating, right? Like I think that would be more beneficial to the Bulls in the long run. A guy like Adama Sanogo, who you need big man help. Adama, every time he gets in there,
I do like Sanogo.
Can ball. Like, I don't know. I've been telling people this for what, 2 seasons now, that this young man he just knows his role. He reminds me of, not as athletic, but he reminds me of a Taj Gibson type of player where he just came into the league and he was just like, yeah, I'm going to grab this board and then I'm going to move and then I'm going to put it back up.
Like
and
this Clint Capella type, yeah.
No, because he don't jump that high.
No, yeah,
he don't run the floor. He doesn't run the floor and doesn't jump that high like Clint Capella. What I'm saying is a guy that just knows what he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what he is to me. And with this team, you're gonna need big man help. So I would like to see one of those guys that you brought in be the main guy, be the main piece that you end up having making the team. But listen, if EJ Liddell was a guy that I wanted the Chicago Bulls to draft. If he's able to come through and ball out, if he's able to, I thought that EJ Liddell was that power forward that the Chicago Bulls needed, that Patrick Williams replacement, or the guy that you can move P. Will to the 3-4. I would love to see EJ Liddell bounce back. The problem is, got into the league, immediately tore his ACL.
Yeah, that was
and just was not able to bounce back. But I mean, he's still very young, 23 years old for EJ Liddell, somebody who I think in college, I thought that he would have a massive impact at the NBA level and just hasn't been able to do it. So we'll see what ends up happening. K-File said the team is actually decent. Somehow Billy don't like him. It's not that Billy don't like him. Men tore his retina last year.
Yeah. That will definitely put you out.
And was just dealing with it. Just like couldn't see.
Yeah.
Just like, I got a little something in my eye. It was like, not your retina. That's the problem.
Jesus.
But no, man. If anybody outside of that, THT is who he is to me. I don't know if the ship has sailed on THT, but I have enough dudes that can operate in the mid range to the bucket area. I got Ayo DeSumo. I got Torrey Craig.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got that guy already.
Yeah.
That's the problem. A lot of the guys you brought in, like EJ Liddell, I don't remember what he shot from the 3 in college. But I can look it up real quick. From 3, he was 34%. That would have to improve. It didn't even attempt a ton of threes. He was basically 1 for 4. 37% his final year. Okay, 37% his junior year. Not bad. That would have to be the thing that I think would set them all apart. Because, by the way, he was 19 points per game in college, 8 rebounds a game, which is why I really wanted him. Added a little bit of that 3-point shot, almost shot 50% from the field. That's going to be what sets those guys apart, because it's got to be somebody who doesn't just operate in the middle of the court. Kenny Lofton kind of does. Taylor Horton Tucker kind of does. Adama Sanogo does, but the Bulls drafted him or signed him, right? So, like, I think that there's a little bit of he was an unsigned draft pick for the Bulls, basically. I think there's a little bit of that plays into this as well. So, there's going to be your favorites. There's going to be the guys that AK picked that are going to get some preferential treatment. Adama Sanogo, he's still on a G League deal, a two-way deal. So he's going to be up and down. You're going to have to clear a roster spot to keep one of these guys, even because you just don't have the space for him right now. And who's that going to be? I think that's why I said it could light a fire under some of these guys, because it could be a Dalen Terry. It could be maybe not a Julian Phillips yet, but like it could be a Julian Phillips.
I like Julian over Dalen.
These are second round picks.
I like Julian. Yeah.
Well, Dalen's not. Dalen's a first round pick, which I still don't get that, but teach their own. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. What you was gonna say, though?
No, you're spot on. I mean, we love to talk Bulls coming up more often. I think this is a season where we're clearly not going to expect a whole lot as far as wins, but we want to see the development. We clearly have a team that we want to see who's going to kind of come out on top. So you love to see the competition level increase with some of these guys at the bottom of the roster and see who just comes out on top. Looking for Matas Buzelis to be that guy.
That's what I want. Out of anything, I could care less about all of these guys. Did the Bulls find a diamond in the rough in Matas Buzelis? Buzelis?
I don't know.
Buzuzu. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We're going to get up out of here, man. We will be back at 5 today for the daily show. Hit that like button, like I said. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. For Jordan JC, Mr. Medium Selfish, your boy, the designer. Back at it again. Bear down. One love. See red. Peace. White Sox suck.
Bro, I mean, hey. I didn't want to necessarily, make you feel bad, but goodness gracious.
Are we doing that? That's what we
I didn't want to bring it up, but I mean, you said it. Hey, worst record, baby.
Worst record in baseball history. I like how C-Dub was like, they're one of the worst teams. I was like, no, not one of.
No.
Can't say one of. The worst team.
Oh boy.
And did it with the Tigers too.
Oh boy.
I'm tired of this. Soda P said, Pat, Javon Carter will have a breakout year. I don't know who Javon Carter is, but Leroy Carter will not.
Javon Carter will have a breakout year. What? No. He won't even get minutes.
No.
He won't even get minutes. Dude is an
Probably
undersized
not.